Firstly, I'd like to thank everyone for coming this evening, and Simon, of course, for screening the film with us and for coming.
And thank you all for coming in on this lovely evening.
So, with 25 years' experience under his belt, Simon's been involved in a number of award-winning documentaries, and of course, the supernatural thriller Written in Blood. Written in Blood? That's
Written in Blood.
Yeah. And so Invasion Planet Earth is the new sci-fi epic, which I didn't realise just how epic it is. Set in Birmingham, starring city punk pop star Toyah Willcox. And we have a surprise guest. Toyah is in the audience this evening. Simon's here to answer some questions about the film and to tell us about your journey, really, with Invasion Planet Earth.
Well, it took 20 years, but I'll abridge it. You've just seen the video. I'll tell you what, that seemed like a good idea at the time.
It's okay, the last Q&A I did, Norman J. Warren told me about his whole career, so...
Okay, well...
It's not 60 years, so it's not quite as long as
you get it from that. It was I made a film, Written in Blood, in '96, and I got some money from a distributor, and it was low budget, but I had a chance to make a film, and it was great. And it sold all over the world, by the way, and it was relatively successful. I personally wasn't mad about it, but just getting anything off the ground. Every time I started to get something going, it would collapse. I was put up for directing feature films, they would collapse, life goes on, and you have kids, and you have trying to pay the mortgage, as we all do, and I just couldn't get it going. And I just hit a point in my late 40s, and I thought, I want to make this movie. That's all I really want to do is make. I wanted to make movies since I was a kid, and I just found it very frustrating. Because obviously I was very rooted here. I had my lovely family that's sitting there. I wasn't going to move to Hollywood.
You're Nuneaton based, aren't you?
I'm Nuneaton. Why would I want to live in Nuneaton? For Hollywood. Anyway.
So when you started with the idea, I know you said you had the idea in 1999. Was it a fully formed idea?
No, it was. To be honest, it was 3 short stories actually, and I sort of combined them together. And I had one of those epiphany moments when because I had these sci-fi ideas, which ultimately became the zombie scene, the shears scene, and the shooting scene. I had this idea, and I was like, how can I get this to work? How can I turn this into a feature film? And then I went, they've been abducted by aliens. It was one of those moments. It suddenly all just fell into place from there. And then I thought I'd throw a bit of War of the Worlds as well.
I can really see your influences. I don't know if you want to say anything about your influences, but it's quite sort of certainly the opening sequence is quite kitschy, but in the best possible way. If you like sci-fi, the references in that first sequence, so you're in. Really,
it's very Buck Rogers, $6 Million Man, UFO. That was the kind of idea behind it.
It's calling on all these.
Yeah.
So when you started making the film, did you have an idea of how epic it would be, and how many extras you would have?
Well, the thing is, the first film I made, it felt like we went from one small room to another, and I found it really bleak and depressing. And it's like, well, I love movies, Sergio Leone and epic scale, and I thought, well, why can't I do that? And I thought, let's use what we've got. Things like we've got castles and all these epic places around here, and I just used Kenilworth Castle and things like that, and it just sort of built up from there, really.
And Personally, I think the scenes in Birmingham are the best scenes. The crowd scenes are amazing, and I do think there is really that sense of excitement that you were talking about with Star Wars. And I really felt that, and I haven't felt that with a sci-fi film for a long time. Actually, that sort of really tension and excitement of there's something really happening, and the people, and you can really feel their excitement. I think you had over 900 extras.
At one point 900 people turned up on that first day. That was pretty much the first shoot we did. And it set the bar up here for me, and I thought, crikey, I can't really go, I've got to keep it up there, and that was really good for me. But what I loved about when we did that was so many people suddenly were supporting me, because I felt like I was kind of on my own, just banging on door after door and getting rejection. Suddenly all these people there going, I won't help you out, we'll give you some money, and not masses of money, but just small amounts. But it just made the job. It made me enjoy the experience more, because filmmaking is quite a tough thing to do, and it's relentless. And just having good spirited people behind you that love what you're doing, it's just brilliant.
I think speaking as a creative person, I think that's generally true for everyone. But Birmingham is a really good environment for that kind of thing, and crowdfunding and group work.
Yeah, we shot in London the first time, never again. It was a nightmare. We got, first day we turned up, we had it all organised in Bethnal Green, and the catering lorry turned up. Within like 2 hours, the council came in and they closed us down and kicked us off. My first day of that feature film, and I was like, oh god, that was the end of the film.
So I know you've had some struggles making the film. Do you want to talk about that at all? About the crowdfunding process? More detail about that?
The only struggles have been money, really.
Yeah.
Seriously, trying to pay the mortgage while you're making an epic sci-fi thing is quite hard.
And
George Lucas, exactly. One of them. You know what? I've enjoyed every minute. It is when I look back and think, Christ, I've spent years on it. A lot of my life and my children's. They've only ever known me making this film, so
they're in the film.
They are. And one day, in a few weeks' time, I'm going to have to start being a dad and actually treat them nicely.
You paid them, by the way.
Anyway, I paid them. Don't worry. Did I answer that? Did I went off on a tangent?
No, it's okay. Yeah, I wanted to ask about. I asked about the challenge you've had. You kind of talked about that.
Yeah, there wasn't really.
I'm sure everyone here knows about it.
You've seen it. That was easy. It was really technical, and I had to learn how to do special effects. I didn't do all the special effects, but I did about 90% of them.
Well, we saw you in your studio for a couple of moments.
That was my garage.
Yeah, and I know that. What was it like turning your studio into an international space station?
Well, I didn't actually do it in that garage. I did it in a slightly bigger garage, but when something seems like a good idea at the time. I thought we shot the Godzilla scene. Sorry, the crowd scene. The crowd scene, and then I was like, we had 500 quid left, and I thought, how hard can it be to build it's only a space station, it's only a corridor, and I built it, and I never built a set, and I built it with Mark, my friend, and it was like, don't lean on the set, and it really was egg boxes and tin foil, but the actors were brilliant, but I realised, oh god, Gordon, our cameraman, he shoots Holby City's really top cameraman. He came and shot it. He was like, Simon, this is terrible. Just make it look good. Anyway, he lit them beautifully. But a CGI guy came to me and said, look, have you got anything I can do for my showreel? So I said, well, I've got this space station, you see, and you couldn't look at that. And he took the shots away, and months later they came back, and it was he turned it into the International Space Station. He cut them out basically, got rid of my set, and replaced it with the International Space Station. And I was so blown away. To be honest, all those space station interior scenes took about a year to do. It took them a year.
But again, after reading about the film, I didn't expect it to look the way it did.
I know, yeah. Something like.
I mean the internal scenes as well, because that's so difficult getting all the technical.
Yeah, the
technical side of stuff. It's really subtle, I think.
Well, I know that. I'm quite honest here. I know that's the weakest looking CGI scene in the movie when he's on the front of the ship and the ship's blasting each other. But Angie and I cut down some trees in our back garden, and we took the branches and we put wheels, ledges around them. And Angie's a model maker, used to work on Thomas Tank Engine, so she did all this lovely art on these trees. And Fred, my brother-in-law, came in, and Sue, they came in, and we spent Saturday nights painting these trees. And then we filmed them in a green screen studio, and I had to learn how to sort of composite and make it all look a bit 3D and stuff. But I was really pleased with it. I thought, well, I had a guy who was going to do it, and he was like, it was like 40 grand, and I was like, I don't have that. And I knew it would look better, but I thought, no, let's just do it and make it work.
Well, I think you've got a truly independent sci-fi film, and I think it's one of a kind. It really is one of a kind. I mean that with absolute respect.
Yeah, no, that's right.
You've done something that I think a lot of people would not commit to, and I think it's truly remarkable.
There is a level of insanity. I'm slightly on the border there.
And I guess before I invite Toyah up, if that's okay, I wanted to ask you if there's anything you would say to hopeful filmmakers in the Midlands and how to sort of,
Yeah, I just just follow your heart. That whenever I've not followed my heart,
you've truly done that.
Yeah, exactly. I've screwed up. I don't. I've given this everything.
Yeah.
And that's the secret. It's persistence. Just keep going, and it's all the old cliches, but just follow your heart. That's so that works for me.
And I mean the crowdfunding thing is a really kind of, when you started doing that was a very new thing to do. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming you didn't know whether that would work or...
No, I didn't, but and you know what, it's hard. Crowdfunding isn't easy, but what I liked about crowdfunding was it was real money. I'd been going around the film industry and loads of conversations like, yeah, we'll get you 300 grand for that, don't worry. Yeah, 2.5 million, no problem. Yeah, I'll speak to my accountant, we'll get back to you in the morning. I had years and years of following those little carrots of, he hasn't called me yet, but when he calls me, I'll get you the 2 million over. Okay. And I had so much of that kind of conversation, I thought, that they are destroying me. They're just destroying me. They're just...
Well, artistically as well.
Yeah, just kills you. So whereas someone says, I'll give you 20 quid, and I think, well, okay, well, that's real money, and I can
build a bit of set with that.
Yeah, and they're engaged, and I brought everybody in. I mean, I don't know if Archie's here, but Archie came and helped build our terrible space station.
Well, they turned out tonight was brilliant. And it is all...
Yeah.
I can feel the sort of energy around the film, which is, I think is really wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
I think you've got some really unique, actually.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you liked it.
No, I really enjoyed it, actually. And the crowd scene's just Birmingham at its finest, I think.
No one runs screaming like that in Birmingham.
And the little dog's running around.
Yeah, sadly the dog didn't make it. Did you know there's one shot where, and it's not in the film, but the crowds go running by and the camera filmed them all, and all these crowds running, giving it, and then 3 drunks basically in the pub with lager running along like this at the end. Brilliant.
Yes,
I was going to put it in that actually. We didn't end up putting it in. I was going to put it in that documentary. Anyway.
Right, I think that's all I have to ask you, but thank you so much for coming. I'm going to invite Toyah.
Yeah, do you want me to stay here or go away?
We'll stay here. Right. Toyah, would you like to come up and talk a bit about the film?
Toyah Willcox.
Hello, we only have 2 microphones, so we're going to all share.
Yeah, I think I spent 3 days on this film, and Simon spent 20 years. So I feel a bit of an imposter, really.
No.
No, but thank you very much for coming.
I was honoured.
You're a special guest.
It was the best 3 days of my life, if I just... Sorry. I'm taking over.
It went smoothly.
Sorry.
So when you were shooting, how was did you set up all of that scenery yourself?
We were in what looked like a disused school in Coventry to me.
Yeah, it was.
Nothing had to be set up.
Yeah,
we all the actors were on site. We just rehearsed. We shot the sequences. We all got on really, really well. I remember it was particularly good fun. Simon tried to explain the story, and the script was about that thick, and we had 3 days, so we just got on with it.
Right, I see. And so you're a psychiatrist in the film?
Yes, with a school that was about to be shut down, or a hospital care centre that was about to be shut down.
This is one of the things I was going to say. The film is, like a lot of sci-fi, is quite political in a way. There is like some political... there are some sort of political elements to the film, and I think it's really the message of hope that you have in the film is really I don't believe in hope. And then it all comes back to the end. And also, you've left a lot of room for a sequel there, I think.
No. It's funny actually. 20 years ago, Chris Jones. My friend Chris Jones said to me, "Nuclear war, mate, it's old hat. Nobody does nuclear war. It's all about the environment. But no, it's all about terrorism." We'd always had the nuclear cloud hanging over us, and I was that hit me deep as a kid.
My husband said, "How much did it cost?"
The trouble is, I don't actually want to put a price on it because it devalues it.
Oh,
look, it does.
Your wife will answer.
Is it? Well, it was under $1 million. If I tell you that, it's all right. It's well under $1 million.
I want to ask a question, because I've been part of the film for 4 years, and we recorded the outro song last year, which I absolutely love doing, but I did not expect the quality of the artwork, the whole originality. This is not a cliched film at all. The internals of the spaceship and the attitude of the aliens towards us is not cliched at all. And I didn't expect that. You did not portray that to us as actors on the day.
No, you know what? I kind of felt, I'll just give you what you need. Because I thought if you know too much, and to be honest, a lot of the film came together in the edit, especially the battle scene. I knew there was going to be battles and da. I had an idea for the political side of it, I'd almost had it. Do you know what I mean? It came together in the script, and there's a lot of little bits of voiceover that just connect it and that sort of thing. So I know that's wrong. Really, you should have his script and everything, but
the spaceship was so organic. It was menacing. Yeah. It was organic. The huge one. I mean, that is a demonic spaceship.
So original.
Yet it's the future of mankind.
Yeah. Well, Ian Whiston. This is how it works, guys. I needed someone to build a spaceship,
okay.
And I had the little spaceships. The guy, a friend of mine who was a student when I met him, came and did some original concept for the little tiny spaceships with the pods on the bottom. But I needed a mothership. He went off and went and did Rogue One and Godzilla, as you do, instead of staying with me. But anyway, and then I just found a guy from south of Birmingham. Actually, he just said, "I'll do your spaceship," and and I love him dearly. So he's not here. And he just built the spaceship basically, and it was amazing. And I gave him lots of rope to go and hang himself with. It's fantastic, and that's what we came up with. It's brilliant.
I think the political side of the film is quite interesting, because obviously you started with the idea in '99, going through 9/11 to now. It's become almost more relevant now than it was when you started with the idea.
Donald Trump wasn't obviously president when and suddenly that everything changes.
But I think it shows how in tune you are with things actually, and again. And Toyah, I wanted to ask you really how it feels to be part of such an independent production.
I think it's amazing. I don't
know if you've done independent productions like this before.
I've done about 5 this year.
And it's like a sci-fi thing.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, okay.
I did Quatermass in '78 with Sir John Mills, but I don't think I've done a sci-fi since.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Didn't think it was really your genre.
Well, I mean, I'm an actor. Actors don't really stick to genres anymore, but I just did not expect the end result and the support. I mean, Jonathan Ross texting today, support the movie, is so important. I mean, he's a friend of mine. He doesn't give easily. He doesn't need to. And it's just so important that he did that. My agents are watching it now with Shepherd's Bush View, and it's got such incredible presence for an independent, and I think that is phenomenal.
And the emotion behind the film, I think, is really what got me to love it. I love it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow. It's funny actually. I just in the last few days, all the reviews have come in, and there's been some absolutely lovely ones, but there's been some really horrible ones as well. And as I was watching the film, all I could think about was some of these really negative reviews.
Take it from someone who's had bad reviews for 40 years. The bad reviews say more about the reviewer than they do about the product. Ignore it. Just ignore it.
Can I just say, I've been a big fan of this lady since I was very young. Not young. And I was so honoured to have Toyah on board. And I'm quite cheeky, as you may have guessed. When I asked her to do a song, I didn't think you'd say yes, and I was really very, very pleased to have the opportunity to do that.
It's the first song you've written, I believe. And my husband, who's an international superstar, said, "I love this song."
Wow.
I am saying that I can't take all the credit. He did most of the work here. And can I just mention Dave down here? Dave did an early draft of a song for the film. Sorry. But thank you, mate. Thank you for doing that. I really appreciate you. And big support as well. So.
And again, the score was original, wasn't it?
You know what? I used my gut instinct on all this, and this young guy kept badgering me on Facebook. But I listened to his music. I thought actually he's quite good. And I had Barrington Phelan was going to do it originally, who sadly died this year, I think a few months ago. He was going to do it, but I got nervous because I love Barrington Phelan, but I thought it's just going to cost loads of money. And so I thought, well, I'll give Ben a go. And I listened to his music, and I really thought about it. And he did a video online. He kind of opened his heart online about losing his girlfriend or something. So, and I thought, this guy's going to give me 200%. And I could tell, I thought there's genius here. And I gave him a gig, and it was the best thing I did. It was fantastic.
I think he's done a great job.
When I said to him, can you do some sort of like 70s funk in a kind of Jeff Love, does Space 1999 kind of way? And he was like, okay.
That's great. Well, thank you very much. Does anyone want to ask any questions, Simon or Toyah? At all? Any questions?
That sequel.
Yeah, we want that sequel, yeah.
You want a bigger part, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
This lady here, Julia, is in the scene in the graveyard, and on the DVDs, you're in a scene that's cut.
Are you the grave lady in the graveyard?
She is.
Oh, well done.
Someone said it was like the scene from The Birds.
It is.
It is. It was like the scene from Hitchcock.
Yeah,
that's a good thing. But you're on the deleted scenes on the DVD as well. The Prime Minister scene we did during that.
Toyah, when are we going to hear the song on the radio?
Yes.
Well, I mean, the song's released. Is it on Spotify?
It's on everything.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, your man has helped me put it up there.
Good. I don't have the power to get things on radio. I think only the public vote, public popularity. If enough people download it from Spotify, the radio might listen. I mean, radio is more political than film, by the way.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
Dance version as well.
There is a dance version.
There is hardcore dance. Yeah, Alan.
Can I just say, as a long-suffering family member that's lived this film for
My brother-in-law, brother.
this guy has been absolutely fantastic. He has shown us all the way to go, and he's stuck with it along the way through thick and thin. So well done, we're very proud of you.
Oh, thank you, Rob.
Can I ask, from the day you first completed the script, first time round,
Yeah.
how many times did you have to do rewrites or tweaks or whatever?
I gave up numbering them, hundreds.
Really?
Seriously, yeah.
It just
And
evolved all the time?
yeah, I hit a point in 2008, after years and years of working on it, I thought, it's not working, it's become a pudding. And I started again. And I remember, I had the script there, page 1, and I just started again. It wasn't that, it was this actually. Anyway, page 1, and I just thought, what did I really want to make? What was it? And I went back to what the little boy in me that wanted to make this space film, and that was kind of what it became. So,
Good.
hundreds of drafts, I'm afraid.
And may I ask, is the sequence at the beginning, is that you? Little boy, is that you?
It might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to, oh god, here we go. I used to hold spaceships up and out the there's a lot of truth in that film. A lot of truth. The dad and the car, my brother, when they were out on the street, and they heard a guy screaming, and this was in the late 70s, and all the kids ran over, and this guy, because he used to work under cars, the car had fallen on him, and it was crushing his ribs, and they all tried to lift it, and they couldn't, and there were about 8 kids trying to lift this car, and they screamed and shouted, and luckily a guy ran up with his jack and jacked the car up, and they pulled him out. But I also thought, God, that must have been pretty scary. I wasn't there, annoyingly. But, no, sorry. It always kind of affected me. Exactly, yeah,
I think there's something to be said for that, though. There's a lot of things that aren't shown in the film that are really essential to the plot.
Yeah.
To the point that I almost felt like I blinked and missed a really important. But all the emotion is there, but you feel like there's a lot of things you don't need to show that you don't show us.
Yeah.
Which I think is a really interesting element of sci-fi, that you don't show us the really heartbreaking moments. You see the kind of before and after.
It puts it in your mind, and it's more powerful when it's in your mind.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
We all a lot of films show you everything, and it takes all the takes it all away.
But I feel like about trailers now. Trailers show you absolutely everything now. You see the whole film in the trailer, and I don't watch them anymore because it will just ruin the film.
Yeah, it just gives you right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you've kind of gone back to the origins of sci-fi. I think which is really cool.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really
Thank you.
interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
Joking apart, had you already come up with the idea of making it that the aliens were trying to save the world sooner than destroy it? 'Cause that was a bit of a shocker, actually.
Yeah, was it? Yeah. I can't actually remember, to be honest. I vaguely remember a period of going, what if? Because I was thinking, how can I turn everything on its head? Because I was very aware of not doing a cliched sci-fi movie and not copying anything else. I wanted it to be very original, and I think it came there somewhere. There was originally a little girl that was also abducted, and it was, but then, and the parents were really upset about her, having been taken. But then Madeleine McCann was taken. This is how long ago it was, and I just thought, I don't know if I want to go there really. But it was around about that period, which was probably, I don't know when that was.
Again, you're kind of developing a whole of the plot there, and
going
in a whole.
So.
Wow. It's really interesting.
Any more questions? Or do you want to go home? Hello there.
Hi. Well, first, Toyah,
please.
your character Monk in Quadrophenia. I think it's one film I watched all the time, so it's really great to see you here. Simon, I remember following all your... Sorry. You can both answer.
Yeah, go on.
I remember following all your posts on Facebook and on your feeds as well. And then you decided to change the name from Kaleidoscope Man to Invasion, which I thought was really, really great. I'm just intrigued to know,
Do you know what? We did the test screenings, and we did 4 test screenings, and they all went really well. But it nagged me for a long time. And I was thinking, Kaleidoscope Man, yes, it's very creative. But what it does, for one, there's no women. For me, it cuts out 50% of our audience and also it suggests that Kaleidoscope Man is somehow going to save the day, and he doesn't. And initially he did, you see, but in this version he doesn't. And also I was trying to sell it, and I'd been to loads of distributors, and I was just getting rejection. And I spoke to Chris Jones, my friend, about it, and he said, "Why don't you call it Battle of Space or something?" And I thought about it. I thought, well, maybe. And I always liked him, but I was going to call it Invasion Earth originally, but there was a TV show, and I thought, what about Invasion Planet Earth? And I started drawing the doodles on the. And I thought, well, actually, that's not bad. And then when I pitched it to this sales agent, they were like, "That'll sell everywhere. That'll do the job." And I thought, well, I need this film to be successful. I owe loads of money to people, so and seriously, that was my kind of agenda. I do actually want to pay people back, like Rob up there, bless you, like Dave down there, and there's a bunch of other people that owe money to. Sorry, guys. So so that was why I changed the name, Steve.
And Duran Duran never had anything to do with it?
I was wondering about that.
I directly remember we were out for a walk and you were going, Invasion Planet Earth.
No, Duran Duran make an appearance in the opening.
They do. Well, I couldn't have Toyah's album. I couldn't really have Toyah's album inside. So no, I'm a child of the 80s. I loved Duran Duran, and I'll say that proudly. And Toyah knows them all. I mean, Toyah here. No, I absolutely love Duran Duran, and I've been a fan. And in fact, there's this shot at the beginning when you see the Rio album there. But when I shot that, George Michael had just died, and I loved Wham as well. And if you look carefully, George Michael is just popping his head down behind the album. So it was my little, homage to 2 great icons of, of 80s music. I'm looking at you, Toyah.
I did want to ask, did you do all the storyboarding yourself as well? That was in the documentaries, like drawing up little sketches?
No, here's what happened. My nephew Steve came to me and said, he was a teacher at the local college, and he said, his art teacher, he said, "There's this amazing kid, you've got to meet Matt."
No.
He brought Matt Alsop in, who and he was 17, 18, he was an incredible concept artist, I mean incredible, and I thought, he's like Ralph McQuarrie, who did the original Star Wars. Anyway, so I gave Matt loads of money, I paid him a little bit of a wage, and he came up with some fantastic designs, and he created what the film was going to look like. Amazing. And I had him. He came in for about 2 months, and he did loads and loads of images. Then, the money collapsed, the company went pear-shaped, and I had to kind of start having to work properly for a living for a while. Matt then went to London, got in with Gareth Edwards. Suddenly he got on Godzilla. Then from Godzilla he got the first Star Wars, Force Awakens. Then he got Rogue One. And then suddenly the Godzilla 2 are going. He's on Solo, the Han Solo film. Godzilla 2 pay him a fortune and make him a producer, and he's like 26 at this point. Wow. So he's had a fantastic career. So I'm very pleased. Well,
you have taste, obviously.
I'm really pleased. He's a good lad, and he deserves his great success. So anyway, how are we doing?
Any other questions for anyone?
Hello.
I forgive you.
Yeah. She gave me a hard time. You hurt me and ran away. No, that's all right. It's all right. That was good. There was a lot of passion about. You weren't the only one. God, yeah. When I announced that I was doing it, I got some quite. People were quite shocked I was changing the name of the film. So, yeah. See, the thing about having really great people that have backed the film, they were engaged, and and it was important. The whole thing was important, wasn't it, to everybody? They were like. They feel like a
great project.
Yes, that's fantastic. You've got loyal fans. You've got very loyal fans. I was amazed at your fans.
Yeah, but I don't change the names of my own. I actually agree with your name change because I did a horror this year and I was absolutely surprised that the director I worked with, the horror I did was Doll's House. This director makes 6 movies a year, and I said, how do you get your funding when I'm surrounded by people who are desperate for funding? He said, horror just sells worldwide. And I think you changing the name into a very identifiable sci-fi name is going to just help the film so much. You need to put it in the genre it belongs.
Do you know what's happened recently? I can tell you now, but basically because I've got distribution here, I've now got an British distributor that's distributing it in Walmart in America. 18,000 DVD orders, and they said, Invasion Planet Earth, and you stick a spaceship on the front of the city. It is selling out, I guess. But then I thought, well, they're going to watch the film. Hopefully, they're going to like it, and then it just helps me more for future things for another 20 years.
Well, we are so grateful to have you here, and thank you, Toyah, for coming. Honestly, it was an absolute pleasure to watch your film. Thank you so much.